Good Friday morning. Again, is the 22nd week of the year. 24th, what am I saying, the 24th of the year? Good grief. It's 6:15 in the morning right now, but I've been up a couple of hours. Actually, it's a Saturday morning. You know that, and I know that. Okay, well, I'm trying to keep it all straight. Anyway, it's the continuance of the letter to Timothy. And great line in the gospel today. It's interesting anyway, out Luke's gospel. But this one applies to the world I live in, the professional world I live in. He said, "Beloved, teach and urge these things." See? So he's going to talk to them as preacher teachers, and that's what I am. Okay, watch this. Whoever teaches something different and does not agree with the sound words of our Lord Jesus Christ and the religious teaching is conceited, understanding nothing, and has a morbid disposition for arguments and verbal disputes. If that doesn't sound like the philosophy department in theology, you got to live in it. Never an unchallenged thought. And there's a lot of truth. But it's what we make a living at, okay? And it actually has worked for thousands of years. Intellectual life is a combative life. It's contentious. It is. It is. There's no doubt about it. Not an unchecked thought. And that's good because it keeps ideologies from taking place. See? The possibility of religion descending into ideology is very, very easy. It does. What checks it is reason. Alfred North Whitehead said, well, I love Alfred North Whitehead. I really do. He's my favorite philosopher next to Aquinas. He said that religion could be. He didn't put it could be. He said it is. But I think Whitehead had a knack of overstating. Okay, I think he might have been Italian, but not really. He's British. You know that crowd. Anyway, he said religion is the last vestige of human savagery. It can be when it is unchecked by reason. It can easily descend into fanaticism. We see it in the world in extremist groups. Christian as well as, you see it in Islamic for the terrorism, but you also see it in Christian fanaticism. You know it, and I know it. Sometimes in the name of the Bible, we wreak holy havoc. We have in the past historically, but boy, we can do it. We're doing it right now. And I'm a conservative Republican saying that the extreme right can often be violent, as you well know, right? All in the name of God and the truth of the gospel. Hardly. See? Yeah, hardly. Hardly. The gospel's a gospel of peace, not of violence. Christ doesn't do violence. He could whack the hell out of everybody. He doesn't. Instead, he's crucified. The greatest witness of the truth of the gospel is the crucifixion of Christ himself and the death of the martyrs. Not the bulldogs, not the guys not the fighters, but the dyers. You want to convert the heart? Watch somebody die for what he or she believes in. Yeah. See? Look what he says. Namely, from this morbid disposition for arguments and verbal disputes. You got to live it when it goes to the extreme. But in fact, it's it's important, okay? I love the contentious world of academia, okay? We've advanced the human race through argumentation, reason, and logic, scientific discovery. God help us. We'd still be hanging from a tree with one hand and eating a banana with the other if it weren't. See? The reflective mind, the disciplined reflective. It's when I tell my kids in class, think, but think with discipline. Don't shoot your mouth off. Think with discipline, see? But when you have a morbid disposition, I want to argue for the sake of arguments. And there are guys like that. Sometimes I think the logicians left to themselves, but not really. From this morbidity, this morbid disposition, come envy, rivalry, boy, that is ever true, insults, evil dispositions, mutual friction among people with corrupted minds, who are deprived of the truth, supposing religion to be a means of gain. Guess he's talking about theologians. What do you think? Not really. Well, he could be. I don't know. I don't know. He might very well be thinking in this text of his colleagues, the Pharisees, being honest about it. I don't know. When you make the contentious arguments about law, you lose sight. You make it a cottage industry. You make the debate over law, the Mosaic law, a cottage industry. As the church can make a cottage industry out of its pieties. Yeah, being honest, though, I'm being blunt, okay? Be careful. Indeed, he says, indeed, religion with contentment is a great gain. Contentment. It doesn't mean passivity. It means to be at peace. To be at peace within oneself. It doesn't mean to be naive or foolish, but to be at inner peace with oneself. And therefore with the world around you. Not out to beat up the other guy. Not out to throw your weight around. But rather find concord. To become friends together. I love Aristotle because of the centrality of friendship. Whether it's in marriage, the ultimate form of friendship, or friendship of all kinds. The friendship for a man like me, who's a celibate, the friendship of friendship, the beauty of friendship itself, how precious it is. The friendship of the men in the outfit and the order. The friendship of the people of the parish who listen to this. See? We're part of this. Who've been part of my life for 50 years. See? Yeah. That's a virtue. That brings wholeness. See? The friendship of Christ himself. Not the Lord who will condemn, but the friend who will save. See, like the Frankie Coppola in my world. You got to know Frankie. God rest his soul. He's dead. My oldest friend who looked out for me. I tell that story to my kids all the time in class. How Frankie, without saying a word, looked out for me when a couple of guys wanted to rough me up because I was calling the wrong girl at the wrong time. I was trying to get a date, okay? I was just a kid. These two guys, I didn't know she had a boyfriend. Hey, I took her out. I didn't know I was being dumped. I was very naive, but I was being dumped. One day I woke up and realized there's some guy warned me, said, some guy's going to kick your ass. You're going after his girlfriend. By God, they came after me. It was two guys. Told me they're going to kick my ass if I ever bothered. But I knew I was going to get the crap kicked out of me. So what would you have done? I went home to Frankie. I saw my friend Frankie. He was a year older than me and 50,000 times tougher than me, okay? I didn't want him to do anything. I just needed a little protection. Frankie took care of it. I don't know. All I know is a few days later, the guy was so nice to me, it was saccharine. He wanted to take me home, driving the car, bing, bada, bang, bada, boom. Frankie straightened him out. See? Frankie was a friend. To the day he died, we were friends together. See? Yeah, that's Christ. You want to say something? I think Frankie's my Christ figure. Why? He didn't make a big deal of it. He just took care of me. He looked out for me. Years and years later, I asked him, I said, hey, Frankie, remember? And I said, yeah, I want to talk to him. I love to have heard that conversation. Oh, that's street stuff. That's street stuff. But there's a lot of wisdom on the street. Be careful who you mess with. Right? Be careful. You don't know, you might have a Frankie Coppola as a friend. Right? Christ is that Frankie Coppola. Christ is behind and he's quietly with us. Right? He's walking with us. He's not interested in contention and violence, but contentment, the wholeness of friends together. I love telling the story about Frank, my friend Frank. Yep. He was friend to me. I hope I'm always friend to him. Indeed. Yeah. Friends together. That's Christ. Friends together. Like Aristotle said, looking out for each other. Christ looks out for us. He doesn't want us to be contentious. Critical, but not contentious. Christ would criticize the Pharisees, but he loved them too. The sad part is, they loved their stuff more than they loved him. They didn't see him. They got lost in their own vanities, their own contentiousness. It's too bad. They missed Christ. We haven't. Let's not.